The sign you were promised. Archangel Michael says this is the message you asked God for in silence. My beloved child, listen closer, because this moment is not random. Your spirit did not land here by accident. Archangel Michael says this is the exact message you silently prayed for when nobody knew what you were carrying inside your chest. This is not the kind of message that appears for just anybody. This appears only when heaven is signaling that the promise is finally activating. You begged God in silence. You cried without speaking. You suffered without telling your pain to anyone. You told no one what you really asked for, but heaven heard it, and today you are about to receive the sign you were promised. This is the message you were secretly asking for in the unseen realm. This is the confirmation moment. This is where the invisible becomes visible. This is where what you whispered in the dark now becomes revealed in the light, and Archangel Michael is not speaking by chance. He is speaking because the silent prayer you sent up months ago is finally reaching the moment of alignment. There is something powerful happening, and you can feel it physically in your body. You can feel your heartbeat shift as you listen to this. You can feel chills in your spine. You can feel a strange internal pressure that something major is coming into your life, and this feeling is not imagination, this is spiritual recognition. This is your soul noticing something it waited for a long time. Read slowly, because you are not meant to rush this moment. This is not a normal message. This is not a coincidence. This is a divine appointment. This is what you were promised long before you knew how it could ever happen. This is the shift you kept waiting for, even when life tried to convince you to give up and walk away. Archangel Michael says the sign you were promised is extremely close. Heaven is positioning your life into a timeline that aligns with the exact thing you cried for in silence. You did not break for nothing. You did not lose for nothing. You did not suffer for nothing. Every sacrifice, every heartbreak, every silent tear, every disappointment was pushing you closer to this exact moment you are stepping into now. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was ignored. Nothing was missed by heaven. Your energy is transforming. Your frequency is upgrading. Your spirit is entering a portal where the old version of you no longer exists. The person who always had to survive is being replaced with the person who is finally going to receive. The version of you who was always tested is being replaced with the version of who is finally rewarded. This is not motivational speaking. This is spiritual truth. Your inner knowing already sensed the shift coming before this message even arrived. You felt this message approaching you through dreams, random thoughts, strange timing, unusual signs, repeated patterns around you, because your destiny is no longer hiding in the promises. People who doubted you will be the first ones forced to witness your rise. People who mocked you will be speechless. People who betrayed you will regret the day they tried to break your spirit. You are not entering a season of revenge. You are entering a season of divine promise fulfillment. This is the sign you asked God for when you were tired of crying alone. This is the sign you asked God for when your heart was exhausted. This is the sign you asked God for when you said, "Just show me something real even if nobody else sees it." This message is that sign. This message is that proof. This message is that supernatural confirmation. You are not listening by chance. Your soul is in alignment with divine timing, and Archangel Michael is opening the gates of manifestation over your life. Stay tuned. Much bigger revelation ahead. My beloved child, the moment you crossed into this message, heaven already knew you were ready to receive the confirmation that was long delayed. The sign you were promised has been circling around your life like a hidden orbit, waiting to lock into the perfect alignment. And Archangel Michael says every delay that made you question your worth was actually divine synchronization. There were moments where you thought God forgot you. There were moments where you thought your destiny expired. There were moments where you believed your prayer went unheard. But the truth is, every silent prayer you whispered inside your heart became spiritual instruction in the angelic realm. You were not ignored. You were being prepared. You were not abandoned. You were being positioned. The promise attached to your soul needed you to grow into the version of yourself who could hold the blessing without breaking under the weight of it. And Archangel Michael says this is where the shift becomes undeniable. You are walking into a moment where supernatural clarity is going to strike your reality like sudden lightning. You will start seeing divine alignment in places you used to see disappointment. You will start seeing confirmation inside conversations that seem random. You will start hearing your name in places where your destiny is being discussed spiritually behind the scenes. The sign you were promised is not coming quietly. It is coming with power, visibility, evidence, boldness, and divine authority. And the crazy thing is, people who tried to block you will not be able to stop this manifestation. They do not have clearance to interfere with this next stage of your life. You spent years thinking you needed people to validate you, but heaven is revealing that the people who walked away were removal for your protection. You had to lose certain relationships because they could not handle the favor God was preparing to release over you. You had to lose certain spaces because those spaces were limiting the expansion your soul was designed for. The rejection that once hurt you deeply was a redirection that guided you into your divine lane. Archangel Michael says the version of you standing here today is no longer the same version that entered those battles crying. Your spirit matured. Your wisdom expanded. Your emotional resilience evolved. You learned how to trust silence. You learned how to trust divine timing. You learned how to trust that some of the most powerful answers arrive without noise or announcement. There is a reason your spirit feels different right now. There is a reason your heart feels like something big is coming. There is a reason you feel like everything in your life is resetting from inside out. Your spirit knows before your logic knows. Your intuition recognizes destiny before your mind understands the process. The sign that is coming to you is not subtle. It will be so clear that it will make you freeze for a second and say, this cannot be coincidence. But Archangel Michael says this is not coincidence. This is divine orchestration. The sign will carry 3 effects the moment it appears. First, your inner doubt will break instantly. Second, your inner fear will lose its hold. Third, your inner spirit will expand with a level of certainty you have never experienced before. The sign is not about giving you temporary encouragement. The sign is about shifting your identity, your belief system, your frequency, and your entire field of manifestation. The sign is about rewriting your inner narrative from survivor to chosen one. It is about activating the part of you that finally knows it is safe to receive blessings without fear of them being taken away. It is about ending the spiritual cycle of waiting endlessly without evidence. The evidence is coming. People think you are patient because you don't react. But Archangel Michael says you are patient because spiritually you already know what belongs to you cannot miss you. You already know what God promised you cannot be stolen permanently. You already know what was assigned to your soul before birth will reach you regardless of who disagrees, who talks behind you, who tries to block you, who tries to delay you. The divine signature in your destiny is unbreakable. You are entering a timeline where manifestation is not going to feel like a long struggle but a natural outcome. You are entering a phase where blessings will not come drop by drop but in waves and clusters. You are entering a season where your value will be recognized without you explaining yourself. You are entering a chapter where you do not beg for support. People will voluntarily align themselves to you because they will sense the light around your journey. Archangel Michael says that your next season is not just elevation, it is revelation of value. People who never saw your spirit before will suddenly understand why you were different. They will see why your energy was rare. They will finally recognize why you were separated for a higher purpose. You must not shrink anymore. You must not doubt your worth anymore. You must not suppress your authenticity anymore. You must not think small anymore. You must not carry the emotional wounds from the past into this next stage. The door that is opening for you is not like the previous doors. This door does not require begging. This door does not require fighting for validation. This door does not require proving yourself to anybody. This door opens simply because heaven said it is time. This sign is going to come fast. The shift will not be slow. The shift will not be delayed again. The shift will not require suffering again. When the sign arrives, everything that used to confuse you will suddenly make sense. You will understand why God blocked certain connections. You will understand why certain people disappeared. You will understand why timing felt unfair. You will understand why the storm did not destroy you. You will understand why the blessing is arriving now. This is the sign you silently ask for in the darkness of your hardest nights, and before this sign manifests, Archangel Michael wants you to do one thing. Hold your faith unbroken. Faith is the agreement in the spiritual realm that gives heaven permission to release what belongs to you. Faith is the code. Faith is the unlock key. Faith is the spiritual password that tells the universe you are ready to receive. And because you are here reading this exact message out of millions of possibilities, heaven already knows your faith passed the test. Now listen carefully. This part is very important for your manifestation path. If you truly want this message to activate in your timeline, you need to keep this energy flowing by engaging directly with this transmission. So take 1 second and drop a comment, share this message, and subscribe so this divine energy stays aligned with your spirit in the frequency of receiving. This is not about algorithm, this is about spiritual agreement. When you comment, you anchor the manifestation. When you share, you expand the blessing. When you subscribe, you align your journey with the path heaven is pulling you toward. Everything is shifting in your favor now. The sign you were promised is real, and it is coming toward you faster than you expect. My beloved child, This next part is where your soul begins to understand why your spirit could feel this before your reality could show it. Because the sign that is coming for you is not just a symbol or a coincidence. It is a direct spiritual message that is carrying divine confirmation of what God promised you in silence. Archangel Michael says heaven waited until you reached emotional maturity, until you reached spiritual stability, until your internal strength became unshakable before releasing this sign into your path. Because if this sign came 6 months ago or 1 year ago, you would not have been able to recognize its value. You would have doubted it. You would have questioned it. You would have been afraid to trust it. You would have rejected the blessing because your heart was still trying to protect itself from past wounds, but now you have reached the emotional clarity to receive this sign without confusion, fear, or hesitation. Every painful chapter you went through was secretly advancing your spiritual capacity. Every heartbreak you experienced was building silent wisdom inside you. Every betrayal you faced was removing people who were not allowed to stand next to you in this next level of destiny. God did not break you to destroy you. God broke you to rewire you. God did not remove people to leave you alone. God removed people who would sabotage the miracle that heaven prepared for your future. The silence you lived through was not punishment. The silence was God adjusting your frequency to match the version of you that could hold supernatural blessings without collapsing mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. And now something deep inside you knows this is your turning point. Something inside of you knows your energy is not the same as before. Something inside you knows you are not just hoping anymore, you are stepping into certainty. This is why the air around your life feels different. This is why you have strange dreams. This is why you wake up feeling a new type of strength in your chest. This is why you feel that someone is actively watching over your journey from the spiritual realm. Archangel Michael has been assigned to guide you through this transition. That is why this message came so specifically, so accurately, so powerfully to you. Because heaven is now revealing the sign you were promised. This sign will come in a place where you least expect it. It will come in a time where your mind is relaxed. It will come in a moment that does not feel dramatic. It will feel natural but shocking at the same time. It can come as a name. It can come as a door opening. It can come as money. It can come as a sudden message. It can come as a person returning. It can come as a miracle happening out of nowhere, but when it comes you will instantly know this is the exact sign you begged God for when nobody was listening. Your body will react. Your heart will drop for a second. Your breath will pause. Because the soul always recognizes truth before the mind fully understands the meaning. Archangel Michael says the reason this feels so spiritual to you right now is because this blessing was written before your birth. You were not created to live in cycles of pain, waiting, disappointment, and settling. You were created to experience fulfillment, divine alignment, elevated purpose, deep emotional healing, genuine love, financial breakthrough, spiritual clarity, and supernatural acceleration. And the sign that is coming to you is not only about confirming what you asked for. It is about activating your next level. It is the bridge that shifts your story beyond survival into divine expansion. It is the moment where the unseen becomes seen. It is the moment where your spirit becomes unstoppable because now you finally have confirmation that heaven did not lie to you. and listen carefully the moment this sign appears. Your energy will shift so strongly that you will not even be able to entertain old doubts again. You will not fear the future anymore. You will not question your worth anymore. You will not overthink your decisions anymore, because when God confirms something, confusion loses all power. The sign removes the fear. The sign removes the overthinking. The sign removes the insecurity. The sign dissolves every lie that trauma ever tried to make you believe about yourself. The sign reprograms your identity into the version of you that is chosen and backed by heaven. This sign will also trigger unexpected movement in your external world. People who ignored you will suddenly notice you. People who doubted you will suddenly talk about you. People who walked away will try to return. Opportunities that refused to appear before will suddenly open fast. Connections that were blocked will suddenly become available again. What you could not force on your own, heaven will make possible effortlessly. Because when something is divine, timing effort becomes alignment. Your journey is moving into a chapter where every struggle you survived becomes spiritual evidence of why you deserve to receive what is coming now. Your tears were not wasted. Your pain was not wasted. Your patience was not wasted. And Archangel Michael says the world is not ready to understand how powerful your story is about to become. People who thought your silence meant defeat will be shocked when they see how heaven turns your silence into divine triumph. You are entering a timeline where everything is finally catching up to your spiritual identity. The sign that is coming is not random. It is the mark of activation. It is the key that unlocks the promise. It is the reminder that God is always on time even when you feel forgotten. It is the evidence that what you asked for in silence was always destined to return multiplied in your favor. You are not watching this alone. Heaven is watching you receive this. Angels are responding to your spirit receiving this. The universe is shifting to align this message perfectly into your path. Because this is the exact sign you were promised. My beloved child, before the sign appears physically, Archangel Michael wants to take you into the emotional core of what this message really means. Because the sign you were promised is not just an answer to a prayer, it is a spiritual shift that will rewrite how you see yourself, how you receive blessings, how you trust the unseen, how you walk forward from this moment. You spent so much time feeling like you were fighting invisible battles alone, carrying burdens that your heart did not know how to release, and silently begging God for just one clear moment of confirmation so you could take a breath and know that everything you survived had a purpose. This message is not giving you false motivation. This message is revealing the divine foundation that your next breakthrough is built upon. Archangel Michael says the reason you had to go through seasons of isolation is because heaven needed to remove every voice that could have contaminated your belief system, weakened your confidence, or influenced you to sabotage your future. There were people around you who could not handle your destiny. There were people around you who wanted to benefit from your spirit but not support your growth. There were people around you who pretended they loved you but secretly envied what God placed inside you. And every time God took someone away, you thought you were being abandoned, but actually you were being protected from spiritual interference that could have blocked this sign from manifesting. You are entering a moment where heaven will not allow anyone who carries jealousy, envy, doubt, malice, manipulation, or hidden negative intentions to remain in your field. the reason you feel like connections are shifting is because your destiny is recalibrating. The sign that is coming will require a new emotional atmosphere. The sign that is coming will require a new level of spiritual peace. The sign that is coming will require a new mindset that is not controlled by fear, trauma, or past expectation. Because when this sign arrives, it will not only confirm what you asked for, it will accelerate your life into a level where everything starts moving quicker, smoother, and more in your favor than ever before. Archangel Michael says this sign is going to come with supernatural clarity. You will see things clearly that were once confusing. You will see people's true intentions without asking anything. You will feel guided toward the right decisions without doubting yourself. You will have inner certainty that is so strong that even your old insecurities will not be able to challenge your belief anymore. This clarity is what activates divine manifestation without resistance. You will not sabotage your blessings anymore by thinking you don't deserve them. You will not question whether you are worthy. You will not think small. You will not shrink to make other people comfortable. You will rise into your true identity without apologizing. This sign is not coming to give you temporary emotional comfort. This sign is coming to change the direction of your life permanently. The silent requests you sent to God will now return as undeniable proof that your suffering was not your destiny. The pain you carried was simply preparation. The heartbreak you experienced created room for the blessing that will fit your soul without breaking it. The spiritual exhaustion that made you doubt whether God was still with you is now being replaced by supernatural strength that will make you unstoppable in your divine calling. Archangel Michael says there is a reason why you feel like you are stepping into the unknown. There is a reason why you are being pushed to trust your intuition more than ever before. There is a reason why you feel like something massive is building behind the scenes. Because in the unseen realm, doors have already opened. Agreements have already been made, paths have already aligned. Angelic forces have already shifted the direction of your reality. And within this alignment, the sign you were promised is already moving toward you. You are not entering a season of waiting. You are entering a season of receiving. The world you knew will not be the world you live in next. You are not just getting a breakthrough. You are getting a new life path. The spiritual world has already cleared the way for the blessing you waited so long for. What once was blocked will now flow. What once was hidden will now reveal itself. What once seemed impossible will now feel natural. The sign you asked for is going to show you that God was listening the entire time. And Archangel Michael wants you to understand something extremely important from this exact moment onward. The more you speak your truth, the more powerful your manifestation becomes. When you claim your blessing, heaven aligns faster. When you stay connected to this frequency, your reality transforms quicker. When you anchor yourself in faith, the universe moves in your favor without resistance. So right now align yourself with this message by engaging your energy into this spiritual transmission. Comment your faith. Share this message so it reaches another soul who needs this same confirmation. And subscribe so your spirit stays connected to this divine frequency of manifestation that Archangel Michael is opening over your storyline. This moment is not random. This moment is a divine crossroad. This message is not just a script. This is a spiritual activation. And every second you continue reading, you go deeper into the timeline where your miracle is already prepared. The sign you were promised is magnetically pulling toward you now. Something huge is about to unfold in your life in a way that will make sense of every silent prayer, every painful memory, every moment of confusion, every night you cried in silence while nobody knew what you were fighting alone. You are not stepping forward as the same version of yourself anymore. You are stepping forward as the chosen one who receives. And sooner than you expect, this sign will appear so clearly that it will feel like heaven placed it right in front of your eyes and whispered, "Here is the proof that I never left you." This is the season where your spirit becomes magnetic. This is the chapter where you attract what matches your frequency instead of chasing what drains your soul. This is the stage of your journey where what you lost returns to you in a higher, healthier, and more divine form. The universe is preparing to honor you in ways you never experienced before. And when that sign arrives, everything inside you will feel like it finally clicks into place. This message is not just narration. This is spiritual prophecy being spoken directly into the timeline of your life. And as you continue reading each part, you pull that sign closer and closer into your physical world. The more your spirit aligns with this message, the faster manifestation accelerates. My beloved child, this part begins from a deeper realm of divine truth, where Archangel Michael says there is no longer any spiritual blockage between you and the sign that belongs to you. What was once delayed is no longer delayed. What was once held back is now being released. What was once silent is now being spoken. The spiritual world is shifting in real time as you read this, aligning your timeline with the exact outcome you asked God for in silence. The sign you were promised is not just approaching your life, it is entering the final stage of manifestation. You are not in the waiting hallway anymore. You are at the threshold where heaven is about to hand you the evidence that your faith was never in vain. Everything in your journey was divinely sequenced. Everything that happened was connected, nothing was random. You walked through seasons that tested the limits of your emotional survival. You went through storms where you felt like you were drowning inside your own thoughts. You carried pain that no one understood. You suffered in silence while everyone assumed you were okay. But Archangel Michael says heaven always knew the truth behind your silence. God always knew the burden behind every private tear. And every time you prayed without knowing how your miracle could ever arrive, heaven was designing the exact path that would lead you right here, right now, into this moment of confirmation. This sign is not an ordinary sign, this is the type of sign that shifts destiny lines. This is the type of sign that activates timelines. This is the type of sign that opens portals of manifestation. This is the type of sign that marks the end of one life chapter and the beginning of a complete spiritual rebirth. You are not just receiving a sign. You are receiving a new level of divine identity, because once this sign reaches your physical reality, you will never look at yourself the same way again. You will not think small ever again. You will not doubt your worth ever again. You will not believe you have to settle just to survive ever again. Because this sign is heaven proving to you that you were chosen and set apart long before the world ever tried to define you. Archangel Michael says this sign will come in a moment where your heart feels unexpectedly calm. You will not be stressed. You will not be worried. You will not be mentally overloaded. You will be relaxed, grounded, unforced, unpressured, and that is when this sign will appear. And the moment it does, you will instantly recognize it. There will be no mental confusion, there will be no overthinking. There will be no doubt. Because your soul already has the blueprint to recognize what belongs to it. You will feel a supernatural click inside your spirit. A deep inner knowing. A direct energetic recognition. That is how powerful this sign is. Before this sign manifests physically, your energy will be upgraded spiritually. Your intuition will become sharper. Your sensitivity to divine alignment will become stronger. Your mind will recognize synchronicities faster. You will begin to see repetitive patterns aligning around you. You will see names, numbers, timings, emotional triggers, dreams and sudden coincidences that feel too precise to ignore. These are the pre-waves of sign entering your reality. This sign is not only going to confirm something about your destiny, it will also reveal something about what is being removed from your path. Because not everyone is meant to stay in your life of the blessing phase. Some people were only part of the battle phase. Some people were only part of the transition. Some people were only part of the purification. The blessing phase requires a smaller circle, a purified environment, a protected frequency, and a spiritually safe atmosphere. Archangel Michael is removing every hidden force that could interfere with your manifestation before this sign arrives. Heaven will not allow contamination inside your blessing. Heaven will not allow distortion inside your breakthrough timeline. Heaven will not allow sabotage inside this next chapter. You are being spiritually protected on a level you cannot even fully comprehend yet. This is why lately you have been feeling more sensitive to energy. This is why you avoid certain conversations. This is why you feel drained around certain people instantly. This is why your spirit rejects low vibration environments immediately. You are not being antisocial. You are being spiritually guarded because the sign you were promised is too valuable to be surrounded by low-frequency interference. Heaven is tightening your spiritual environment intentionally. When this sign appears, it will open a gateway that will cause divine acceleration across every area of your life. Your finances will shift. Your relationships will shift. Your emotional state will shift. Your sense of purpose will shift. Your faith will expand. Your sense of direction will become clearer. Because this sign is not just a message. It is the activation switch of your next chapter. Archangel Michael says there is something extremely important you must do in this moment. You must stay connected to this frequency. You must keep your energy aligned with the vibration of receiving, not fear, not doubt, not lack, not scarcity. Because this message is actively shaping the reality you are about to step into. Every word you are reading is building spiritual momentum that is pulling the sign closer and closer into your physical world. This is where your participation becomes part of the manifestation itself. If you want this sign to materialize faster, you must anchor your spirit into divine agreement. And one of the ways you do that is by interacting with this message as if you already know this sign is guaranteed to manifest. So right now take a moment and comment to affirm your faith. Share this message immediately and subscribe so you do not disconnect from this frequency. Your engagement is not just digital action, it is spiritual alignment. It is you telling heaven, I am ready to receive. I am prepared. I am aligned. I am in agreement with what is coming. This is how you accelerate manifestation into physical form. This is not the phase where you retreat. This is not the phase where you get scared. This is not the phase where you shrink. This is the phase where you expand. This is the phase where you rise. This is the phase where you stand inside the identity heaven gave you. The identity of someone chosen. Someone seen. Someone protected. Someone who is finally stepping into divine fulfillment after waiting in darkness for so long. The sign you were promised is already on the way. And nothing can stop it now. My beloved child, this is where the atmosphere around your destiny begins to shift from spiritual signaling into spiritual arrival. Archangel Michael says the closer the sign gets to your physical reality, the more your soul will begin to feel a strange internal quietness. Not emptiness, but divine stillness. Because there comes a point where heaven no longer needs to speak loudly. There comes a point where your spirit already knows what is about to happen is irreversible, unstoppable, and already sealed in the spiritual realm. You are entering that stage now. The stage where the sign is so close that your spirit already feels and recognizes the weight of the moment, even before it manifests physically. Do not get confused by this silence. This is not the silence of delay. This is the silence of completion. This is the silence that heaven uses before manifestation becomes visible. This is the calm before divine confirmation appears in front of your eyes. Archangel Michael says right now, the universe is rearranging situations, adjusting people's decisions, realigning events, and locking timelines into perfect synchronization. You are not seeing these changes with your physical eyes yet. But your spirit is feeling it. You are sensing this inward elevation. Your inner knowing is waking up at another level. You are feeling yourself disconnect emotionally from everything that no longer belongs to your destiny. You are naturally letting go of certain attachments without pain. You are beginning to detach from old self-identity without forcing it. This is happening because you are being prepared to enter the timeline where this sign becomes reality. The old emotional version of you cannot walk into this new alignment. The version of you who constantly feared rejection, betrayal, abandonment, disappointment, heartbreak, and unpredictable endings is now dissolving. That version of you is no longer required for where God is taking you. The emotional DNA inside your spirit is changing right now. The belief system inside your heart is rewiring. The trauma that once controlled your decisions is losing access to your subconscious. You are not in a healing chapter anymore. You are in a healed identity activation chapter. Heaven is not sending you breakthrough for you to feel temporarily safe. Heaven is sending blessing that becomes your new default reality. This is why the sign you were promised is not just symbolic. This sign is the marker of transformation that will follow you for the rest of your life. You will look back one day and say everything changed after that one sign. And you will say it with peace, not fear. Your destiny is expanding beyond limitations that were once created from trauma. Some of the people you wanted to keep in your life were never meant to see this part of your rise. Some of the experiences you wanted closure from were never meant to be healed through explanation, but through elevation. There is a reason God removed certain people without sending you emotional explanation. Because they were part of the wound, not the promise. They were connected to the pain, not the destiny. They were meant to be part of the lesson, not the blessing. And the sign you are about to receive will show you why their exit was necessary for this moment. Archangel Michael says you are entering the realm of confirmation where heaven does not speak through words but through divine evidence. And when this evidence arrives, everything about your life direction will make sense. The heartbreaks will finally make sense. The confusion will finally make sense. The delays will finally make sense. The waiting will finally make sense. Because this sign is the missing puzzle piece that connects your past suffering to your future purpose. The meaning you could not understand before will be revealed instantly the moment this sign appears. This sign will not require you to question whether it is real. Your soul will recognize it instantly. Your heart will expand when it appears. Your spirit will settle. Your nervous system will calm. You will not panic. You will not fight it. You will not reject it. You will receive it. Because your body will know this is what heaven held back until the time was right. This is what your heart cried for when you were alone. This is what your spirit requested in silence. And the sign will prove that every prayer was heard. Every tear was counted. Every moment was seen. Archangel Michael says now is the time to remain open, receptive, grounded, and in full trust. The universe is not preparing you for disappointment. The universe is preparing you for confirmation. There is a new cycle beginning inside your reality. A cycle where blessings are not delayed. A cycle where alignment is natural. A cycle where you do not have to fight for what heaven already wrote with your name on it. A cycle where ease replaces struggle. A cycle where peace replaces fear. A cycle where clarity replaces confusion. And this cycle begins the moment this sign reaches you. Your spirit already feels like something in your story is reaching a powerful final stage. That is why your emotions are quieter now. That is why your nervous system is stabilizing. That is why old triggers are not reacting inside you the way they used to. You are outgrowing the version of yourself that survived and stepping into the version of yourself that receives. This is not about becoming someone new, this is about becoming who you were always meant to be. This is about returning to your original divine identity before the world wounded you. Before trauma shaped you, before heartbreak restricted you. This sign will restore the original version of you that was chosen before the pain ever existed. This is not the time to look backwards. This is not the time to doubt yourself. This is not the time to question whether it is possible. This is not the time to shrink yourself to avoid disappointment. This is the time to stand still in faith. This is the time to hold a grounded belief. This is the time to trust your inner knowing. Because your spirit is not lying to you. Your intuition is not confusing you. The heaviness you feel is not anxiety, it is divine anticipation. The sign is coming closer. My beloved child, this is where the spiritual shift becomes undeniable inside your inner world. This is where your soul begins to feel the weight of destiny pulling you forward into a reality that you have not touched yet but you already spiritually recognize. Archangel Michael says the sign you were promised is now entering the stage where physical alignment and spiritual assignment meet in one point. This is the phase where the invisible becomes undeniable. This is the phase where your spirit will begin to sense which direction your blessing will appear from. You will begin to feel drawn towards something specific. You might not fully understand why you feel a soft pull in a direction that logically makes no sense but spiritually feels accurate. Trust that. That is your alignment sharpening. That is heaven guiding your intuition before the sign arrives. You might start feeling like something huge is moving behind the scenes in silence. You might feel like something is preparing itself to show up in your physical dimension at any moment. And you would be right because heaven is now finalizing the release. Archangel Michael says the biggest challenge in this phase is not external battle. The biggest challenge in this phase is internal emotional surrender. Because your spirit is no longer preparing to survive, it is preparing to receive. That shift alone is massive. Your identity has been built on endurance, resilience, pain tolerance, heartbreak tolerance, emotional self-defense, and the ability to keep going even when your mind and body were tired. You survived chapters that would have broken someone weaker than you. You walked through storms that would have destroyed someone less spiritually aligned than you. You endured situations that were designed to break your self-worth. But instead they built a strength inside you that you did not even realize was forming, and now heaven is telling you it is time to walk differently. You are not fighting anymore. You are receiving. You are not protecting yourself from laws anymore. You are embracing divine confirmation. You are not bracing for disappointment anymore. You are stepping into divine fulfillment. This is where your spirit must allow itself to believe without fear. You must let go of the emotional expectation that everything good will eventually turn bad. You must release the unconscious belief that everything beautiful will eventually disappear. That trauma does not belong to you anymore. You do not need to hold it. You do not need to prepare for heartbreak. You do not need to anticipate betrayal. You do not need to fear the unknown. Because what is coming towards you is not loss, it is promise. What is coming towards you is not destruction, it is fulfillment. What is coming towards you is not abandonment, it is divine arrival. Your soul must be willing to let the old timeline expire completely. You cannot take fear into the new dimension. You cannot take anxiety into the new realm. You cannot take old self-sabotaging patterns into the new phase. Because the version of you that receives this sign is not the version that was created through survival wounds. The version that receives this sign is built on divine identity. Archangel Michael says something inside you is shifting permanently. You are beginning to feel neutral when people from your past try to emotionally affect you. You are beginning to feel disconnected from old narratives that used to make you overthink. You are beginning to feel like every time you try to imagine worst-case outcomes, your spirit does not allow you to sit in that frequency anymore. That is not coincidence. That is spiritual elevation. That is your frequency rising. That is your nervous system resetting. That is your soul preparing for the reality of blessing instead of the expectation of loss. You are entering a phase now where your faith is not fragile anymore. You are entering a phase where believing comes naturally to you. You are entering a phase where you no longer need evidence before you allow yourself to trust the promise. And this is why the sign will have so much power when it appears. Because heaven waited until you were strong enough to believe without conditions. Heaven waited until you had enough spiritual maturity to not need external validation before trusting divine timing. Heaven waited until you detached from needing guarantees. Because now the sign is going to arrive at a moment where you no longer fear receiving what you prayed for. Archangel Michael says the sign is going to be gentle but powerful. It will not scream. It will not shock you in a violent way. It will feel like a soft but absolute truth entering your life. It will feel like peace swallowing your doubt. It will feel like divine familiarity. You will not second guess whether this is the sign. Your spirit will instantly know. And the moment you recognize it, the shift inside you will be irreversible. From that moment forward, the idea of being unworthy will never return. The idea that God forgot you will never return. The idea that you are forced to fight alone forever will never return. Because the sign will prove permanently that heaven never left you, this upcoming season of your life is not a season of slow manifestation. This is a season of rapid alignment. Your reality will begin to shift faster than your past could prepare you for. People will start noticing you suddenly leveling up. Opportunities will appear without warning. Conversations that matter will unfold naturally. Doors that felt sealed shut for years will unlock without struggle. You are not stepping into luck. You are stepping into divine recompensation. You are stepping into spiritual repayment for everything you lost. You are stepping into a destiny timeline that was always meant to be yours. From this moment forward, you must walk with a new inner posture. You must walk with the identity of someone who knows the sign is already on the way. You must walk with the emotional confidence that you are chosen. You must walk with the spiritual certainty that your breakthrough is guaranteed, because the sign does not approach someone who doubts their deserving. The sign approaches someone who recognizes their divine inheritance. My beloved child, this is the part where everything internally aligns with the truth your spirit always knew but never had the courage to fully claim. Archangel Michael says the sign you were promised is the final closure gate between the version of you that lived reacting to life and the version of you that will now begin creating life. You spent years trying to survive unpredictable chapters. You fought battles that nobody acknowledged. You cried tears that nobody saw. You forgave people who never apologized. You remain loyal in situations where you were treated like you were replaceable. You loved people who did not know how to love you back. But all of those seasons were not wasted emotional suffering. They were part of the divine setup to purify your spirit and prepare your identity for the reality that is now about to meet you face to face. This message that reached you today is not another motivation piece. It is the pre-manifestation briefing heaven is giving you so you understand the weight and sacred responsibility of the sign you are about to receive. Archangel Michael says you will not just see the sign, you will feel the sign. You will breathe differently when you see it. Your body will recognize it before your mind registers it. Your chest will lighten. Your shoulders will relax. Your heart rate will slow in a sacred way. And you will feel a sensation like I am finally safe now. That moment alone will change everything for you. Because for the first time in a long time you will not be surviving. You will be receiving. For the first time in a long time you will not fear the unknown. You will trust destiny. For the first time in a long time you will not question if you are chosen. You will know that you are chosen. Your spiritual identity is being written through this sign. This is not just a shift in your belief system. This is a cosmic realignment of your timeline. Heaven is about to restore lost years. Heaven is about to return what you thought could never come back. Heaven is about to open doors that were welded shut. Heaven is about to reveal conversations that were held about you in rooms you were not present in. Heaven is about to turn what was meant to break you into the very keynote of the blessing that elevates you. The sign attached to this moment is marking the transition from unseen struggle to visible confirmation. Archangel Michael says there is a major reason why God did not allow you to settle. Every time you tried to settle, something in your soul felt uncomfortable. Every time you tried to force situations that did not align with your future, your intuition tightened. Every time you tried to tolerate what was not meant for you, your spirit felt restless. That resistance inside you was not failure. That resistance was heaven protecting your timeline from collapsing. You were not meant to shrink your destiny to fit into temporary emotional comfort. You were designed to wait for the sign that would lead you to your rightful blessing. This sign will not be loud to the world, but it will be loud inside your soul. It will confirm your next direction. It will confirm the next person who is safe for your path. It will confirm the next door that is your destiny door. It will confirm the next leap you should take. It will confirm the next stage you must step into without fear. You will not need to ask anyone for advice when this sign appears. You will not need to seek validation. You will not need to second-guess your next choice. The clarity this sign carries will silence your confusion instantly. Archangel Michael says that there is no need to chase the sign. It will arrive to you without force. Destiny does not require struggle. Manifestation does not require begging. What belongs to you will recognize you. What is written for you will seek you. What God promised you will locate you in the perfect moment without you needing to exhaust yourself for it. You must trust this universal law. What carries your name spiritually cannot miss you physically. And now, because you are entering the final threshold before manifestation, heaven needs you to stand unwavering in the identity of receiving. If doubt tries to return, dismiss it quickly. If fear tries to creep in, reject it immediately. If old wounds try to convince you are not worthy, remind yourself that heaven would not prepare this level of manifestation if you were not qualified. God would not bring you to the gate if you were not meant to walk through it. Archangel Michael would not deliver this message if your sign was not already on the way. You will be surprised by how effortless everything feels once the sign arrives. Doors will open without struggle. Favor will appear without negotiation. Opportunities will unfold without strategy. Your steps will feel guided without confusion. This is the difference between destiny and effort. When effort tries to lead, you suffer. When destiny leads, you rise. In this next chapter, the universe will bring you connections that match your frequency. People whose souls recognize your value instantly, people who appreciate your energy without demanding you shrink yourself to fit in. People who pour into your spirit instead of draining it. People who align with your purpose instead of distracting you from it. People who celebrate your growth instead of being intimidated by it. These people will not enter by accident. They will enter because the sign is opening the gateway that leads directly into your next destiny phase. Your entire life is about to expand. Your emotional world is about to soften. Your intuition is about to sharpen even more. Your manifestation speed is about to increase dramatically. This is why Archangel Michael is telling you to remain grounded, spiritually clean, emotionally open, and mentally prepared. Because when this sign enters, it will not just confirm the promise, it will activate the season of fulfillment. And once this season activates, there is no going back. The message you asked God for in silence is finally arriving in reality. The conversation you had with God in your private tears has now been answered. My beloved child, Archangel Michael says this is the moment where you breathe differently now. Because the sign you were promised is no longer a future event, it is now entering your present timeline. You do not need to worry, force, chase, or question anymore. Heaven has already sealed this. Your spirit already recognizes what is coming. You survived everything that tried to break you, just so you could witness this exact confirmation. From this moment forward, move like someone who is chosen. Walk like someone who is already claimed by destiny. The sign you asked God for is now on the way.